Hey, Theta Datas, welcome to the TradingView setup guide for new option sellers. And this is a Theta Daddy exclusive for you all learning how to sell options for the first time, or maybe not even the first time, but just understanding the different tools that we use specifically for TradingView. So, to start, if you don't have TradingView, you can just go download this for free. You won't be able to add as many indicators as I'm going to talk through today. However, you will be able to add one or two. I forget what the limit is. And there are ways to add more. I'm not going to get into that on the video, but you can Google that and I suppose figure out maybe ways that that can be done if you don't want to pay for it. However, and this is not sponsored at all. This may be the best like software on the market for anything trading related. I have come to love it. I am most definitely a fan and a premium member, as you'll see. So, highly recommend it if you're looking to get the most out of a trading tool, technical analyzer, all that stuff. But today we're going to start with just the basics on how to set up your view for newbies. And one of the first things that you're going to do is you're going to have this watch list on the right and make sure you add whatever it is that you want to add here. You'll notice that like if you add something that A tier is not on my list, so I'll add that. If you do that, it's going to go all the way to the bottom, and then you got to like drag it to the top of your watch list. But and you can delete these when you don't want them, and I definitely don't want A tier on my list. What am I clicking? Here we go. There's the delete button right there. Now the better way to do that is to just right click on stocks and or whatever your category is that you want to put it in, and then add symbol, and it'll add it directly to your list here, and you can see that right there. So again, I don't want stinky A tier on my list, so we're taking that off, and we're going to go back to Tesla as our example for today. So a couple other little things that you'll want to know: you can create a layout here. So this is the Theta Daddy layout that I'm going to be showing you. It will eventually look like this here with all these different indicators on it and stuff, and you'll see we're going to work our way over to that in just a little bit here as we go through this. So we'll switch back to this new one that doesn't have anything on it, and we start by real simply switching to the daily view. Now, there are different ways to look at this. You can change your candles to be the hollow candles, right? Things like this. This is personal preference. I just use the regular candles, the hollow candles. There are also volume candles that make them a little fatter and stuff. Again, I personally just like regular candles. And then, of course, bars. This is the weirdest one to me, but some people love it. So, yeah. Okay, that out of the way, we can talk about actual stuff like dark mode. Make sure that if you like dark mode, you see these three buttons, these three dots up here. These they don't call, did they call these the hamburger dots? No, it's when it's the three lines, right? They have system, dark, or light. I'm going to blind you for a second, and then I'm going to switch back to dark because that's my preference. Highly recommend that you pick what you like, but my preference is dark. So you can mess around here. It's hard to break anything on TradingView. You might lose yourself at times and have to go back to figure out what's happening. But anyway, those are the really basics. And then we're going to go and make sure that we have the basics set up. And we're going to start with moving averages. So all you do here is you click on indicators. And for some of these, you can search here and get like, well, maybe I should search for an actual word like moving average, right? And you're gonna get all these from the list. There's some basic ones that we want to start with though. And if you click on technicals, it'll basically bring it down to what are essentially included in TradingView, not like a script that somebody else has made. Here we go. And you'll see we've got simple moving averages and exponential. Now we're going to start with exponential. And you can see that it just added this random one. Now, that's this blue line, they picked 9. That's their default. We're going to go, since we use the 82134, we're going to go to settings here. So you got hide, you can turn them on and off. You got settings, so we'll click that. And we're going to do the colors of the rainbow. So we'll start with yellow. Actually, we're going to start with red. Sorry, it's red. There we go. That's nice red. And then we're going to go to inputs, and the length is going to be 8. That's it. And we hit OK. Congratulations. You have your first moving average. This is the 8 EMA. And now we're going to do the same thing. This can be copied, and then you can just Control V all the way down. Now, we don't need that many. Also, if you didn't know, Control Z works, which is super cool for a program like this. It doesn't seem like it would. So next up, we're going to add the 21, and we're going to make this one orange. And this is real simply, we're doing red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. Purple, something, blue. I don't know. I can't remember the song. This is going to be orange, yellow. Sorry, I just said that. Whoops, I clicked on. Oh, yeah. Okay, so perfect. And this is going to go 34. You'll see it changed. It looked like it changed the color of the original here, but it's because I changed the color first. Maybe I should change the color second. So once again, we're going to go to indicators, and we're just going to click on technicals and scroll down this time to make this a little simpler to moving averages. And when you go to moving averages, you'll find simple this time. And we're going to make our simple, our first one. We're going to copy it again. And then we're just going to paste. And we've got 3 SMA 9s, but we're going to change each one to be a little bit different. We're going to do 50. And our 50 is going to be green. Pick whatever green you want. It doesn't matter. You can also change the thickness of the lines if you'd like. It's totally up to you. You know, there's also like some different ways to display this, if you're wondering. I think that's craziness, and we just want to smooth the view. But I guess it's good to know it's there. Then we're going to go to the next SMA, and we're going to change it to 100. And that one is going to be purple. There we go. Oh, actually, it's blue. It's blue, isn't it? We're going to do blue. Sorry. Throwing everybody off here. And we've already got it to 100, so we just hit OK. And then finally, we have the 200 that we're going to do. And you just change the number, change the style to this one's going to be purple. And that doesn't look purple as I want it to be. There we go. That's a nice purple. Okay, perfect. And that's it. You have a rainbow, and we picked a stock that has a good stacking so you can see that. So that is it for the SMAs. You now have them all. And the reason that we do it this way, now you'll see there are like bunches, indicator bunches that will put all these together. But here's why we want to do them separately. You can hide any individual one that you want. And this way, maybe you just want to look at SMAs for some reason, or vice versa, EMAs, right? Especially if they're all like on top of each other down here. Maybe it's getting a little too messy and you can't tell what's going on. It's like, well, the SMAs don't really matter. Well, actually they do, but I only care about the 200 for some reason, right? Like, there you go. You can see how things are wrapping around the 200 if you want. And again, you can Control Z to undo that, which is a really nice shortcut feature to know about. Okay, perfect. So we are now through with all of the moving averages. You now have a nice rainbow setup. And from here, we're going to add the Super Ichi cloud. And now this is the first indicator that is not like standardly brought in through the technicals or the financials that we've got through TradingView. And instead, we're going to search for Super Ichi. And you're just going to type in Super Ichi, one word, and put in select the Super Ichi Lux Algo. And here, you're not going to do anything. So from here, if you want, that's simple enough and easy. You can just leave that. And this is going to show you cloud support, momentum bias, and some potential reversal zones. From here, we're going to go to indicators and add RSI. And I believe that this can be found in the indicators relative strength index. We're going to add this. We're going to click it twice. Okay. The reason we're going to click it twice is because these, while right now they're exactly the same, you can customize them to show different information. And we're going to do that by going to the same place, settings. And on the first one, we're going to keep it as is with the RSI length being 14. So that's nice and simple. You can change your colors here if you want. And for me, this is fine. So we're just going to leave this. And then this other one, the bottom one, I like to change. And this is based on Average Advisor's suggestions early on to 2. And when you do that, you can see that there's a big difference on what the chart looks like. That is a 2 period, meaning 2 days, or the period is actually defined by up here. So if you're on the weekly, it will look different than the daily. And that's true for all of these indicators, just so you know. Every indicator changes based on the period that you're in. However, the one thing on this is you're going to change your boundaries to be a little bit further out. And that is going to be 90 and 10. Okay? And by doing that, now you have some more extremes that you can see here. Now, for the RSI 14, this is totally fine if you want to just leave it here. Some people like to do 80-20. It gives you, all this is saying is how far you have to go for something to truly be in overbought or oversold territory. And you'll get a feel for this over time. Now you can drag these down so they don't take up nearly as much room. And I like to keep these nice and tight. And now I've got more space on the chart and haven't lost any information here. It still tells me exactly the same thing, except it doesn't take up unnecessary space. Because I personally care about the chart space the most. The next thing that we've got is we're going to add the Autofib, which is another indicator that, so you're going to go to technicals and you'll just go down to the Autofib extension and boom, now you have fibs at a glance. And this is great because you don't need to change, wow, look at that on Tesla. You don't need to change anything. So now that we're here, you'll see that very easily when you just click on a different chart, everything automatically loads. You don't have to re-click all this. But if it gets busy, you can say, I don't want the fibs. Or maybe you don't want the cloud, right? These are all things that you can click on and off as you're going through it. So we're going to go back to Tesla since that's where we were. And next thing that we're going to add is the volume profile visible range, aka VRVP. So I think we could just type in VRVP. And that would be here. And this one, we've got a couple of settings that we want to update. So we're going to click on settings for here as well. And when we do that, we're going to change the row size to 100. And we're going to keep the value area volume at 70. So you can see that that's going to shrink the bars quite a bit. From a style, you can change the width. I actually like to shrink this down. Is it 20? Yeah, 20 makes it shorter. So like maybe 20 or 15, depending on, this is going to depend on your screen size, right? I like less noise on my screen, so that's what you got. From here, you are now, the only thing that you might want to change is on the VRVP. It can get a little noisy at times with this POC, so you can turn that on or off. So the last thing that we do use on occasion is something called Squeeze Mom Momentum Indicator by Lazy Bear. And this is, again, something that adds to the bottom. I don't change this at all for my use. I use the defaults here. And this can show momentum. Now, do you want this? If you don't, you can just hide it. Same thing that we were talking about before. So if you don't want any individual indicator, up here on the chart is going to be where you hide or show items on the chart. So like, okay, too much Mr. Cloud, too much with the, Autofib and VRAP, right? All this stuff, it's too much noise. Now it's a nice quiet chart with just the SMAs, EMAs. Then you can also do the same down here. You can hide these if you want, or just collapse them entirely, or double click it, right? All that stuff. So like there's a lot of flexibility here. And then when you're done, I recommend you save your layout. So just in case you haven't, Make sure you save it so that you keep everything. And that's going to be it for indicators. That will line you up with everything that you could possibly use to start. There's a million other indicators that you can look at, right? But for the purpose of what we're doing, this will get you started in the right direction. So hopefully that you found that useful. Happy to go into more depth on any of this stuff on the server if you have any questions or we missed anything. Otherwise, see you in the Discord and happy trading.